Welcome back to AgriTalk at the American Coalition for Ethanol Conference in Des Moines. We just heard from Brian Jennings, Executive Vice President for ACE, and he talked about it is kind of an interesting dynamic at the growing demand for our ethanol in other countries, while we're still trying to get more market share here in the United States, the domestic market. So it's an interesting dynamic that's playing out. But there is that market opportunity we're seeing around the world, but there could be some challenges to that as well. Joining us now is an attorney with Wiley, Rein, Robert DeFrancesco, who is here to talk about some of these international trade challenges. And Robert, thank you for joining us. You tell me that we could have the possibility of some WTO challenges to our marketing of ethanol around the world.
Yes, thank you for having me. Two elements to that. The Brazilian government, for a long period of time, dating back at least to 2007, has not happy with the 54-cent tariff here in the United States. And on multiple occasions, they've noted that they've expressed their displeasure at the tariff. Going back to the corn WTO case where the Canadians brought against the U.S. in 2007, it never actually went to a panel, but the Brazilians joined that case. And one of the statements that their ambassador of the WTO made at that time was the reason they were joining the corn case was because of ethanol. And they've made statements along those lines consistently since 2007, and most recently, now again in 2011, their current president has also reiterated that they want to see that tariff removed. So that's a potential area of friction, and it's a potential possible challenge to the WTO. In fact, Senator McCain, in a recent visit to Brazil, referenced how he thought it may be challengeable and where the U.S. would lose a challenge at the WTO. I'm not so sure he's right.
Even though Brazil is buying ethanol from us, right? I mean, we're talking about, are they concerned about being able to sell their ethanol to us, but they're actually having to buy it from us right now because they don't have enough to meet their demand, right?
Exactly. Exports to Brazil from the U.S. have increased by over 1,100% in the 6-month period in 2011 compared to 6 months in 2010. So they are ethanol short. They are very concerned with the tariff, though, and they would like to start. I think when they believe their crops will turn around, their production will go back up, and they want to be able to start exporting to the U.S.
They're looking down the line. Of course, the tariff is very much in question with all that's going on in Congress right now with the future of the ethanol policy.
Exactly, and that's one of the things I'll be talking about today is the ethanol industry here in the U.S. needs to look at trade issues both offensively and defensively. Defensively, defending a challenge at the WTO, defending potential dumping cases in their export markets, but also being concerned about surges of imports, of ethanol imports into the U.S. California is talking about renewing their revising their fuel standards, which may result in a surge of Brazilian ethanol imports into the U.S., things of that nature.
So how does our domestic ethanol industry deal with this? I mean, what are some of the things that can be done?
Well, as far as the export markets go, they should monitor a couple things. One of the things when we talk with clients about potential cases, we look for a couple triggers. Huge volume surges. We have that here. Whether the domestic industry and the market where the volume is going is experiencing injury or whether they're not performing well. And if you have those confluence of events, then we're going to start thinking about or raising concerns about a potential case. And then there's steps you can take so far as pricing mechanisms and monitoring your pricing that can help defend against a potential case. On the import side, we look for the same thing. You know, is the industry here doing well? Is there a surge of imports and taking market share and that sort of thing?
It gets complicated.
It is.
But all this really impacts the ethanol industry moving forward.
Yes, both in the U.S. and in Brazil. Some people have raised concerns that you might see a flip-flopping of export movements where the U.S. starts exporting more to Brazil and the Brazilians start importing more to the U.S. and we sort of gobble each other's market up. So it'll be interesting to see how that moves going forward.
All right, Robert, thank you very much.
Great, thank you.
So another set of issues to watch when it comes to international marketing of ethanol. All right, that is Robert DeFrancesco, an attorney with the firm Wiley, Rein. We are at the American Coalition for Ethanol Conference here in Des Moines. We'll take a break. When we come back, we're going to talk with Ron Lamberty, Senior Vice President for ACE, next on AgriTalk.